when you stick three opinionated blokes in a room and put World of Warcraft in front of them.
A completely unchained view from each of them that clash in spectacular fashion, much like the best raids of all time. Classic.
There's going to be someone who's always right and someone who's always wrong, like Dunkirk is, as we know the latest raids are much better.
So, with that in mind, it's time to take a look at the latest Warcraft news and speculation. But be careful what you wish for, because
You think you do,
but you don't. Good evening, guys, and welcome
What was
to
that? I want to point out there was a very so Farseer has cats.
Yes, I do.
I don't know if this is going to surprise anybody. But however, just before we came on it, legitimately about 5 seconds before we came on air, there was silence because we were letting the intro play out. I'm sat there, his mic's open pretty much the entire time, and all of a sudden I just heard as if someone was riding a cat up a wall or something. It was the oddest noise.
Oh god. Oh, my cats have a lot of play fight time, and like they just so happened right before we went on air, one got really frustrated. It was like,
But what you didn't see, what you guys couldn't see, but Farseer could, was me just kind of looking at my phone, checking out tweets, making sure everything was. And then all of a sudden, this noise played, and I was just.
I've never seen him look so confused and or a little bit worried at the same time.
What the hell?
It's almost as bad as that time we witnessed the audio wise a woman turning into a dog.
Yes, that was also very odd.
Yep. What? Me and you, we come across these random situations. What is it?
Speaking of odd as well, it's also starting to become less odd that Dunkirk isn't here anymore. So I feel like we need to re-record the intro somehow.
Yeah. I think at one point, I think he had a little bit of a thing where when we say you think you do but you don't at the end of the intro, that's all three of us saying it. Dunkirk said to me, I can't really hear myself. I turned him up. I'm like, no, you're there. I think it's fine, even if you can't at this point. Like, like Christ.
Special surprise.
Special surprise.
Yes.
Yes, so on the show today, guys, welcome to You Think You Do, But You Don't, I was about to say January, for February the 7th, 2020.
Yeah, we're in February now.
We are in February. We do have some cool little tidbits and things for you today. We got the Race World First, What's Next, which we're going to be talking about in just a few moments here.
Yes, if you don't know, if you haven't been following, we now have a new mythic champion. We've got a world first champion we haven't had before for an end of tier. We haven't this particular guild, if you don't know who it is, it's Limit. They have won their first end of tier race, and it's been thoroughly exciting, if slightly odd.
Yeah.
So we are going to be taking a look at that.
Well, and then we will be talking a little more now that we've had a good bite into Visions, and we've seen how everything's working, how everything's going, and since we've now got a good feel for Visions, we're now moving into talking a little bit more about Torghast, what that may mean, what they're going to take from Visions, and what they might kind of adapt and use in Torghast. So we're going to see what's happening there.
What we hope to see them adapt.
Yeah, we hope to. Well, yeah, of course, always we hope to. And then Story Fuel. Now, this one might confuse a few people.
This is one that you have put forward.
Yes. So the reason I call it Story Fuel, by the way, to start off, is because
when I first saw that, I legitimately was like, Story Fuel. What is? What the hell is Story?
Could mean a great many things. I mean, as I'm explaining it, if you guys want to put in the chat what you thought it meant when you first saw it, by all means.
Sounds like you know they call sometimes like energy drinks like Mountain Dew gamer fuel.
Yes.
This sounds like something writers would drink.
This is what Chris Metzen just was made out of.
Absinthe or something like that.
Yeah, probably. But hey, what it does mean, actually, is we're going to be talking about a little bit about the story. And do we think that Blizzard run out of steam a little nearer to the end of expansions, specifically near the end of BFA. The ending we've discussed already, but is this now going to be a trendy thing where they just start going? Same with WOD actually. Like the twist of Archimonde in at the end and throw Gul'dan, and it's like, what? Where did that come from? Same thing. So we're going to be talking a bit about that, and then at the end we have Kexman's special surprise.
I have a special surprise that I'm going to get out and show all of you.
Oh god! Oh god! Why did you have to say it like that? Oh, now it's still god. Have we got mature on the stream? Is it like rated for mature audiences only? I bloody hope it is.
It will be in a bit.
Oh god!
TOS.
Twitch admins are there like over the ban button like right now. So yeah. That's Kexman is bad to get. If anyone was going to get us banned off Twitch, it would be Kexman. Let's be honest with ourselves. Go on, Cat. Right, okay. Let's get to it. Race the World First. Congratulations, Limit. You won the Race the World First. First time in 8 years that somebody else has taken the crown, I believe.
No. No. Okay. This is you do your story. Leave this with me.
Okay.
This is. So what we've seen is Method have been very, very dominant over the past couple of years. We've seen them take something ridiculous, like ever since coming out of WOD into Legion. We've seen them take 12 end of tier world firsts. It's been absolutely ridiculous. The last time that we had a North American end of tier world first winner, because we've had because the general rule of the race is, or how it's gone for the past couple of months, is we've obviously seen North American guilds take the first couple of bosses on Mythic, because their lockout comes up sooner than everyone else. It comes up on the Tuesday morning. Cosmic Greetings, Leo. So it comes up earlier than everyone else, and then the EU, usually Method, take over as they kind of head further into the raid. And by the time we've got to the end bosses, the EU's usually ahead. This, however, was completely different. No. Limit took the world first kill of, I believe it was Shadhar, I think it was. Big Dumb Guild took the world first kill of Inquisitor Zanesh, which was very impressive.
They just swooped in there and took that one. Maybe.
Yeah, it was a really impressive kill, and there was a lot of impressive performances that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. The Limit took the world first kill on Shadhar, which you can all find, by the way, on warcraftradio.com/RWF, all the world first kills and who got them, as well as the rankings as they stand. Next, I think it's 8 bosses. Limit got world first on every single one of them, unbroken. They got ahead, and they stayed ahead. It was incredible. They obviously had a lot of bugs that they needed to face, potential quote-unquote exploits with Raden.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'll touch upon in a bit. But it was an absolutely incredible performance. And I think, a lot of the Method guys, I know Noggy tweeted about it. There was a lot of them that were saying, congratulations to them. This is legitimately the best performance by a hardcore raiding guild that has ever been seen. The performance that Limit put forward was an incredible one.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. This is I'll be honest, this was the first race world first that I actually paid any amount of attention to. Before, I've never really cared. Obviously, we had some investment here at the station, because we're covering it, so we're keeping an eye on it and such.
Which, by the way, all of the recap videos you can see on YouTube, youtube.com/Warcraft Radio.
Big shout out to Sean Caster as well for editing quite a few of them videos.
Yeah, Sean Caster.
And Eric as well.
Sean Caster, Eric, yourself did some editing. Shout out to Ketra and Pride for taking a look at, looking after the website, making sure it was updated. Pretty much spot on. Well done to myself for doing, voiceovers and coming up with amazing puns on Twitter.
Oh god. Well, I could have congratulated you for your voiceover work or whatever, but if you want to pat yourself on the back, Christ.
I will.
Yeah, no, of course you will. But yeah, no, everyone did an awesome job. And so yeah, this was my first world first that I actually been paying attention to. And holy crap, I could just tell just from watching how much effort Limit were putting in, especially when they got to ends off, because they were just smashing their face against it again and again and again. And this isn't you'll probably be able to correct me or just say that I'm right on this one, but it felt to me when it was with Method have their own method when it comes to raiding and race for world firsts, and they don't seem to be what's the word, so whereas Limit were just like pushing, Method kind of do a few things and then they kind of take a step back, try and make some add-ons and work around it, and go a bit more methodical. And whereas Limit were just like, right, this is this, let's go again. And because of that, it seemed as though when Method did this, did that, had a break, came back to it, did some of that, started, stopped, had another break, it felt as though they were going a bit slower, but they weren't. They were going at a Method pace that they've always gone, and that's gotten them the world first plenty of times.
It was so. I'll touch upon what Rav is saying in chat in just a moment.
What, that he didn't do nothing?
No, yeah, we're all well aware of that. No, it was that add-on guy outside of the raiding team. Oh, party foul. There's the phone still on. Well done, me.
Whee! Whee!
Whee!
Whee!
So the raid. So this is the first time that we have seen a North American guild all together. The past two times. So in Uldir, which was the first time we had a live Mythic World First raid streamed, Method were all together at the Red Bull Centre in London. The second time they were all together in Cologne in Germany at the Take.tv studios, which are incredible. The production values were mind blowing. The second time we had some of the Limit Raiders at Red Bull, some of them still at home. So obviously there was a little bit of a disconnect. You've got potential latency issues, which for a world first race means a hell of a lot. Then you obviously have this race. This is the first time that we have seen the top two guilds realistically in the world kind of go head to head, but also the first time we have seen a North American guild have the ability to just spend time and do what they needed to do. Previously, we have seen North American guilds, especially again in the race to world first, we've seen them struggle in getting time off, in getting all their raiders together. You'll note that a lot of the world first North American guilds who were in the top 20, you will actually see that a lot of them only start raiding at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, because they have to work their day jobs. Whereas guilds like Method, they don't have to do that. A lot of their members can take the time off because they're a sponsored guild, which obviously gives them a slight advantage because they can pull from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. and just consistently, work that way around.
Which gives you a hell of a lot of an advantage over everyone else.
It's a massive, massive advantage. Rav mentioning Limit also had their add-on guy outside of the raiding team though, and their raid leader too, so they effectively had a 22-man team.
I think that was effective.
Not only was it effective, but it's been done for ages. During the Eternal Palace World First race, I believe Method had one of their raiders sit out for about 5 hours of pulls on Mythic Asharas simply so they could make weak auras. They both have very different ways of how they enter the World First race. Method have always been very, very methodical. They'll take a pull or two, they'll see what abilities do, and then you'll have players like Scripe and everything else who will just go and they'll go and take a look at the abilities and work on their weak auras. There's a reason they have a nickname, the Brain Trust. Roger Brown, Scripe, there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
Limit have the same sort of thing, but Limit are much more a case of, that one of the advantages that we had as viewers is that Limit streamed all of their comms. So you could hear them talking. You could hear how relaxed they were. You could hear how much fun they were having. It wasn't, they never had a case of, God, this boss is too difficult. It was always a case of, we can do this. We know we can do this, which was very, very impressive to see. Especially from a North American guild who, realistically, North American guilds have always struggled with this sort of stuff. So they've done a very, very good job.
Yeah.
And I am very, very interested to see exactly how this, where this goes from here. Method, for the first time in a long time, Method have come second in a race to world first. I mean, we had Crucible of Storms where they came second to Pieces, but that was such an anomaly. No one expected this to, no one expected there to be such an issue with Crucible of Storms. So that was a surprise for most people. But yeah, this is the first North American end of tier world first we have seen in 8 years. The last time a North American guild were able to claim an end of tier world first was Blood Legion back in October of 2012 when they managed to kill Empress Shekzia in Heart of Fear in Mist of Pandaria. That is how long. That's how long ago it's been since a North American world first.
Yeah.
And it has been a hell of a journey for Limit. I'm very, very impressed in what they've been able to pull off.
Yeah. Honestly, no, it's really great. And it's just it's kind of cool because then it's really motivated them to like kind of push forward and kind of take this. So I mean, hopefully that motivates Method, and then hopefully we'll see an even more heated race world first come Shadowlands. Like hopefully we'll see that.
There is no doubt in my mind that the Method Raiders are not so much angry, but I imagine they'll be disappointed in their performance. It did feel as though something was off the Method Raiders.
Did you think?
Yeah, whilst they were, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still, the second best, or at this point in time, the second best guild in the world.
Oh yeah, of course.
There is absolutely no question that they are the top tier guild.
Rav thinks they might have gotten a bit cocky.
I wouldn't say cocky. I definitely feel as though
complacent, maybe.
Complacent, potentially. It felt as though they went into it undercooked. There was a couple of moments where I was watching them kind of going, this isn't the Method that we've seen.
Yeah.
One thing that Method have always been very, very capable with is their ability to not only absolutely drill out the DPS, the damage during a raid encounter, but also the fact that they have been able to do that whilst achieving ridiculous strategies within their raid. And this time it looked a little bit, it felt flat. There was a couple of moments they've had a couple of new raiders in. There was a couple of moments, and I hate to call out names because these people that are raiding in this guild are a million times better than I will ever be. And they're a million times better than almost any of us will ever be. But there was a holy paladin in Carapace of N'Zoth called Jeeth, who died on pretty much every single attempt in the first or second phase. It's a difficult fight, but for a world first raider and for a guild like Method, that's big.
Don't usually have people stand out like that, I guess. It's like not a common thing in Method.
It's very, very rare that you'll see someone stand out like that. And I'm very, very impressed to see what Method. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do come Shadowlands. However, I would also like to point out that this is massive for sponsors and for guilds outside of the top two. There are sponsors that will have seen the amount of pull these guilds have. There was, I think, at one point during the race, over Method and Limit, we had something like 150,000 concurrent viewers across all of the streams, which is a big deal. Method managed to raise a massive amount for charity. I imagine Complexity Limit, the Complexity Center in Texas will go down as a very, very popular place for people to now go, especially in the local area.
Yeah, I think the reason they raised that money for charity was just S-Fan bench pressing the Method members is what it was. In the banana costume.
And falling asleep.
Yeah,
it's impressive. I think that there are definitely a lot of sponsors that are going to be taking note of this and going, okay, we know that this is now something we can potentially monetize and get some really, really good, get some really good advertisement from.
Yeah.
And that will also then perk up Blizzard. Now, this is where it starts to become a bit of a grey area, because the Race to World First has always essentially been a community-driven event. At no point have Blizzard ever really acknowledged or taken a look at the Race to World First. They'll obviously congratulate the winners, and they're on hand to help with bugs. Have been multiple times, but they've never really done anything alongside the Race to World First.
No, there's two things I want to question. One, I don't get how you're getting quieter. It's driving me crazy. I'm turning you up and up and up on Discord, and you keep getting quieter. Secondly, I think the closest to Blizzard actually getting involvement with the Race to World First is when they kind of host the final Race to World First at BlizzCon. Because obviously that's them sort of being involved. Like, they're not, but they are, you know what I mean? So,
I mean, they've never done that before.
Have they not?
No, they've never done that before.
I thought they...
Nope.
Maybe they've had... Oh, hold on. Maybe... What was that one at BlizzCon where it was Midwinter versus... Was it Method or something?
Okay, so that was a race.
There you are.
Race to World First.
Right, okay. So that was just... Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't a race to World First. That was just a race during Mythic Siege. That was kind of done as like a fun thing.
Yeah, okay.
The big thing that I've really noticed when it came to this race is, again, the amount of people that are viewing it, the amount of people that didn't know a whole lot about Warcraft, but they saw this big event they wanted to take notice of. The big question now is, if Blizzard decide to step into the World First arena and they decide to host their own event to go along with it, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because it takes it out the hands of the community. If they decided to do so,
I will say.
Sorry, go ahead.
I will say no, for one particular reason at this moment in time. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you'll know at the moment I say it. I can't remember what event it was exactly, but they had that event where they were like, hey, so we're going to have this event that's involving, I think it was involving guilds like Method and other people. And they said, we're going to put some money into the prize pool and communities can also donate. And then basically everyone donated more than enough. And then Blizzard was like, well, I guess we don't have to put any money in. And everyone's like, wait, what? And and for that reason alone, I'd say no. Because if that's the impression they've given when they get involved in community events. And if that's the case, no, don't touch it.
Yeah, that was the PvP reward for BlizzCon for the World Arena Championships, and it was a big issue.
Yeah,
and I think Blizzard have learned from that, which is kind of why they're staying a little bit away from community events now.
It wasn't even a devil's advocate thing. It was just bad. There was no Blizzard this because of this reason. No, it was just bad. It was just bad form.
It just wasn't great. I think I don't know. I'd like to see an official Blizzard recap. You're right there.
Sorry, cat problems. Continue.
Happens to us all. I think we've done a recap of the top sort of like leaderboards and seeing what the top guilds are doing and what the cutting edge is really happening. I would absolutely love to see Blizzard do a fully professional overview of something like that. They could do, because they've got all the data, they have everything like that. I don't think they should host their own. I genuinely don't think they should host their own version of the Race to World First.
No, I don't think so.
Because they would be too close to it. They would be able to. I mean, on the plus side, they would be close to it, so they could monitor it. They could check to see if there are any bugs, check to see if anything needs hot fixing. At the same time, they would be so close to it. And it does feel as though it would take a little bit away from the community. If they decide they want to do it and they do it right, I'm happy to put my hands up and say, yeah, they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
But
at the moment,
my initial thought, would be let it grow naturally on its own. You know, people like Method and Limit are doing a good job. The production quality of both streams, Method and Take Two at the studio in Germany and Limit and Complexity at the Complexity hub in Texas, both did phenomenal jobs.
Let's put it forward. They don't need Blizzard.
No, they
So,
don't.
which
At this
is
point,
good.
they definitely don't need to. Which realistically is good for Blizzard as well,
Yeah.
because whilst they might not be getting a slice of the viewership pie, if you will, they get eyes on their game,
Oh yeah.
which
We're
is
in content that not a lot of people would see otherwise, as well.
oh yeah, which is sometimes a good thing,
Mhm.
and it's sometimes a bad thing. Obviously, the
Yes.
bugs. One thing I would like to
Oh.
point out: we speak a lot about EU and US guilds. Everyone talks about Method. Everyone talks about Limit, Blood Legion in the past. You know, even Paragon way back when. Uh, the one thing that hasn't really been touched upon are the Asian guilds.
Mhm.
Now, the Asian guilds, they join the World First Race on a Thursday evening because of their reset is like the Friday morning or something ridiculous.
Mm.
However, they were, straight away we immediately had two Asian guilds in the top 8 within a day, which is massive. And I don't think it'll ever happen because logistically it would be a nightmare if we were ever able to get a fully worldwide release. They caught up. Balance point. Yeah, exactly. They caught up, which was incredible. The moment Alpha appeared on the leaderboard, I was like, this could legitimately be a surprise. We knew for a fact that all of a sudden they were on Nazoth. They'd beat Carapace. It was insane that they were able to do that.
Out of left field.
Yeah, and they did it in a shorter time than the other guilds as well. If we ever
Scary.
manage to get a worldwide release of a raid in Mythic, I think it would put to rest a lot of questions about, EU gets it 12 hours later, and if they kill it in that time frame, they're the real world first, which is a load of BS.
Yeah, of course.
But if we do get a worldwide release, I can honestly see the Asian guilds taking it.
Yeah, no.
Because how quickly they catch up.
I mean, they take League of Legends and StarCraft and everything else.
I mean, they started on Thursday night, late Thursday night, if I remember rightly. And by Friday evening, Alpha had overtaken most of the other guilds.
Yeah,
it was mind blowing, their performance.
If this is an indication that they're getting serious about wanting to compete, imagine what they'll do with the next one in Shadowlands, like their first raid, if they get involved.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
And I think the other thing we need to talk about, and it's a bit of a downer, is the bugs in Mythic Nyalotha. And I'm not talking about Hive Mind. So the one big one that everyone talks about is the supposed exploit on Ra-Den. Every single, the using that sort of style as a DPS ability, if you will, like Metamorphosis for Demon Hunters. They do it on Mythic dungeons, in Mythic keys. That's been always been done. Method just did it in a more extreme way. So they were both, if you want to class them as exploits, they were both exploits. Method just did a better version, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to bosses like Carapace, like Nazoth the Corruptor, 100%. Those bugs were, we saw multiple bugs. We saw people with 30 sanity just getting one shot with their sanity on Carapace, which shouldn't be happening. We saw the shield not go up on the Zoth. We saw
ice blocking on Ra-Den.
Yeah, we saw ice blocking on Ra-Den, which was hot fixed. All this sort of stuff, which for a world first race isn't fantastic.
No.
I fully understand that Blizzard themselves cannot test every single aspect of a fight. You'll never. The problem is that Blizzard don't have the same thought process as a world first raider does. They don't have that same drive to finish first. So there's always going to be one or two things that you're not going to consider. The reset on Ra-Den, the ice blocking on Ra-Den, some of the stuff with Zinesh. I can kind of
Zinesh.
I can kind of forgive and forget because it's kind of hard coded into the game.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that was appearing on Carapace and the Zoth, at the end of the day, wasn't acceptable. And I'm fairly certain the Warcraft team feel the exact same way. I imagine they're probably looking at themselves going, yeah, we screwed up there, because for your high point of a world first race, that's not good enough.
No.
That's not good enough.
And how Rav said the secret quote unquote phase. Yeah, there wasn't really too much about it, was there?
Yeah, it was, honestly, that was disappointing. And I'll go into why I believe they did that later on during the Story Fuel segment. But that is how, I have a feeling I know why that is.
Yeah. But, hopefully they'll move on and they will improve, as we always hope that Blizzard does. And speaking of improving, moving on, and trying new things, especially as Nylothar in this Insanity system, was Torghast.
Torghast, the Eternal Tower.
Torghast! I'm pretty sure that there will be memes coming out of Torghast. I don't know why, I just get a feeling there's just going to be memes coming out of Torghast. Torghast!
First meme I want to see is someone confusing Torghast for Torbjorn.
Torbjorn!
It's not Torbjorn.
So is there going to be a giant Torbjorn, building Torghast with his hammer?
That's what I want to see.
I could do that.
Don't tell me you wouldn't want to see that.
I'll do it. I don't know whether I'm not seeing it. But,
Torghast, ready to work.
Ooh. But so basically,
You managed to clear Torghast. It's like, that's my turret!
The final boss of Torghast is Torbjorn's turret.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But
Torghast is we're inside Torbjorn's insane mind.
Oh my god!
I've finally been driven.
Oh Christ! Okay, weird crossover with Warcraft and Overwatch aside.
Don't tell me you would not play that.
It should just be a DLC or a next patch for Overwatch, essentially. Torbjorn's insane mind. I'm now kind of. I was still looking forward to it before. I sort of am now, because I'm enjoying Visions, and I liked what they've done with Visions. It's really, really cool. It's not like, the next best thing since sliced bread, but I wasn't expecting it to be that. And I think some people have a really, really silly high expectation ceiling to go, it's gonna be amazing, and then when it's not, they're like, this kind of shit. And it's like, well, okay, then stop expecting it to be amazing, because essentially it's not, and you should have expected that in the first place, is what we're saying. So Torghast, now I say that.
Can I stop you there? Are you currently working in an office or a reception?
Oh my gosh, Jill. No. So basically,
are you acting like, are you at a hotel? Are you letting people in and out of their rooms?
I'm not legally allowed to say that. But I say all this about, hyping expectations or whatever, but now I have literally been freaking out over Torghast, just over the concept. But I want it to work. I want it to be really good. The concept sounds good. It could flop. It could be islands. I don't want it to be.
Very much in the same frame of mind. Torghast is an incredible idea.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great, and all the design features with it, like the fact you can essentially build your own legendary. The fact that you
please don't be honest
to Vita and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I am happy for them to do something like Torghast. I feel as though WoW has needed some form of endless runner / endless dungeon.
And I want to take your idea.
Idea for Torghast.
I want to take your idea as well.
Well, if you're going to take my idea, please know that it is copyright.
Gotta reach in to your mind here. Just rummage around a bit. Just take that right there. And there we go. So essentially, Kexman's idea that he came up with a while ago was that if Classic WoW were to become Classic WoW and continue doing its thing, then should Modern WoW adapt and become a little bit more of a competitive game rather than focusing on what made Warcraft before? And I sort of agree. I think that if they start putting in elite...
Are you going to adapt my Visions idea?
I'm reforging it as we speak. Speaking of reforge, this is how you reforge something. Oh, don't use... We're not using that word.
Don't say reforge.
Oh, I'm reforming it. I'm helping to reformat the idea. Reforging, if you... Shit! So anyway, so basically, leaderboards. I think that would be a good idea. For Torghast, yes. For World First Race, yes. Put them in.
We already have that for World First Race.
We do. But imagine, like, so if you just, again, so this is what I mean about, like, kind of putting what makes Warcraft aside for a moment. Imagine a big... maybe not, something too in the way, but imagine that there's a leaderboard in the middle of Stormwind and in the middle of Orgrimmar, and it has a list of the top guilds for, the ones for
like
the World
the
First.
Hunger Games.
Yeah. So World
Just
First
in the
on
sky.
that. In the sky. Yeah, exactly. For who's done World First, blah, 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 this, who's done World First, blah, blah, blah. For Orgrimmar, you have literally countless spaces on top of the canyons around the edges where you can put them. Like, you've got miles of space to use there. I'm pretty sure they can erect, like, a separate district for Stormwind if they wanted. But, that's it. Why not make why not make an extra, like, not even a district, but, like, just a small area for that sort of thing? Like, they made the portal room in Orgrimmar. They've extended Stormwind into, extra portal rooms and things. They can make something extra just for that.
Yeah, they could do. Whether or not that would work in game, I don't know, because of the idea behind what Torghast is. But I definitely feel as though there is a, I feel as though there is something that could be done in game.
Yeah,
I would much prefer to see some form of maybe not an in-game scoreboard or something like that, but maybe something along the lines of similar kind of going back and stealing an idea from Classic, where you have the PvP vendor and you have the PvP ranks.
Yeah.
So if we're in a certain bracket for Torghast, you get access to certain items that you can use, transmogs, mounts.
Yeah.
If you drop out of that bracket, you then no longer have access to them.
Unless you've already got them, of course.
Might be a little, maybe.
I mean, if you've already bought them, then you shouldn't lose access the moment you lose them.
Maybe have them at the end of the season. So instead of going, I've got what I want now, stop. If you really want to work towards it,
if you want to go hardcore, yeah. Why not?
Have that option where it's like very similar to PvP. But it's a slightly different version of it.
The reason I sort of brought it up, in terms of like leaderboards and stuff, was because. For that very reason. So the old PvP ranks, people used to put in time and effort because they wanted that rank, and they wanted people to see that rank above their head, because you're like, oh, dude, that guy's a high warlord. He must have no life,
And you can tell by the armor as well.
You can tell by the armor. So they had the armor, they had title, and it stood out. And people like to, and of course people like to show off. I like, you want to get a really cool high tier raid armor, and people go, whoa, I went to Kexman the other day. There was this Tauren wearing some paladin shoulders from Mythic Blackrock. Sorry. Was it? Yeah, it was Paladin. I'm pretty sure it was Paladin. Tauren Paladin?
Did you just say that I was a Paladin?
No. I said I was telling you that I saw a Tauren Paladin.
Oh!
No.
I was going to walk over there and kick the ever-loving crap out of you.
Yeah, I got your warrior. I got your warrior and your priest and just went... and then formed you. No. But I was saying to Kexman the other day, while I was in the Chamber of the Heart, I saw a Tauren Paladin with these shoulders that formed shields and stuff. I was like, whoa, that looks really cool. And
Blackrock?
Yeah, Kexman informed me that it was Mythic Blackrock shoulders for Paladins, which I never saw before. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And so people like to get these things because they like to show them off. That's why we have transmogs. That's why we have, tiles. That's why we have these things. People love to show off their achievements and what they can do. Mounts, pets, titles, transmogs, they all love it. So if you had a leaderboard to show yourself off, that's sort of why I kind of had it in game, because they'd love to have their name plastered across, not necessarily the sky, but for just for example purposes.
I do like the
people would
Games
like
idea,
it.
Whereas every so often it just up in the sky.
Yeah,
just like
it would be better if it was still server based though. Because the strongest PvPer with the most kills, like it's the notorious stabby blades, and you're like, he's number 1 this week against it. God damn, I've got to kill that guy.
The best thing you can do is if you do leaderboards with something like this, it gives you a little bit of freedom to have multiple leaderboards. So you turn around and you say, okay, this guy's number 1 on the server, but where does he stand in Europe out of all the servers?
Yeah.
Where does he stand in the world? You have 3 different tiers of leaderboards. So yes, you might not be able to get number 1 in the world, but you could be in the top 100 in Europe.
Oh, Christ.
It's
Imagine. I just thought of something really wild. They never do this. But I just thought of something really wild. PvP wise, this is the most extreme you'd ever go with PvP. Okay. I don't think this is a thing. So forgive me if this is already a thing. I'm not a big PvPer, so I don't look into this very much, but I don't think this is.
Okay.
So imagine if you had these leaderboards. Imagine if you were like in the top, let's say 100, for example. Say you're in the top 100 on this board. In your region. So for whatever, and not just in your region, but in your, I guess, do they still have shards? Is shards still a thing? Like there's a collection of servers? Okay, let's just say region then, to keep it simple. So let's say top...
So the best thing, I think, for ease of sanity, we'll go realm, region, world.
Yeah.
So realm, EU,
so
US, Asia, world.
We'll go, okay, so let's just keep it simple then. Let's just go server for now. So server based, and you got a top 100. Imagine there is 2 people in that top 100 from the same server. One's in 63, one is in 32. Yep. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they will get a warning pop up that's saying your PvP flag is enabled. However, it is only for the person who put out a bounty on you, Mr. 64, who wants to kill you. And if he finds you in the world, he has free reign to wail on you. You don't have a PvP on for anyone to attack you. You can put that on if you want, but it's just him. And also vice versa. So you can just go out and, but like they have to locate that person. So they could be anywhere in Azeroth. But if that other person finds them, runs into them and kills them, they can take their rank. But it could be at any time during that time limit. Yes.
It's flagged, but you're not like on the map. So
yeah. Because, I mean, you could do it on the map if they're in the same zone to make it a bit easier, or you could even go, if someone lands in the zone, you know, your target has been spotted in this zone, so then you sort of know they're in the zone, because some zones are really big.
It would say, first it would say continent.
Yes.
Then it would say zone, and then when you got to the zone, that's it. You've got
to find them. And some zones are really big. So if you landed in Southern Barrens and it's like your prey's in this zone, you're like, okay, I gotta find him. It could be anywhere. Especially if it's a rogue, it makes it even harder. But I think that'd be really cool. And that's pure competition. And people who do PvP, I think they would like that. I've got to toss that by the technically PvP guys and see what they think.
I like the idea. The only problem I have is that it immediately favors druids and rogues
for the stealth mechanics.
For the stealth mechanic, unless the only way you could do it is if it made it so the person who was hunting you could see you in stealth, but nobody else could.
Yes and no. I think because, yes, it does favor you on that sort of thing, but imagine if it didn't, so it wouldn't warn the person who's being hunted. The person hunting would be able to track, right? So then it says you're in the same zone. It wouldn't tell the person who's being hunted, because, you know, don't give them warnings. So if they want to, for let's say the bounty is out for, let's just throw an example, 2 or 3 days. They're not going to stealth around constantly for 2 or 3 days.
So they don't know they're being hunted.
Well, no. They do know they're being hunted because their PvP flag will be on for that person. Like, so they'll be given a warning saying so and so is hunting you, or someone is hunting you. Someone took out a bounty on you. So it could be.
They won't know when it's coming.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
the only option you have is they could want to see that and they go, okay, log out for 2 days.
They could do, but imagine if they would, but then you'd lose rank. Because not just for logging out, but because others are hunting others and still moving up the leaderboard, and they'll eventually start passing you. You'll eventually get pushed down because others are doing it. So imagine if you, for surviving the bounty as well, this is sort of like the careful on the logging out part. So let's just scrap that. I'm going to stick with what I was going with. So yeah, if they don't do it, if they don't participate, then they're not gonna move up. So I think that eventually, every now and then, someone could take out a bounty on someone higher than them. Maybe that's a separate kind of thing about how you go about that. But
Okay.
If you don't it's literally like the PvP ranks. If you don't participate, you're gonna fall down the ranks. You got to be part of it. You got to be part of it. I think it's a good idea. I think that's one idea for leaderboard.
I imagine there's a reward for surviving it if you're logged in for X amount of time.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, but it's a very big pitfall, so you've got to be very careful with it.
Yeah,
but that's your PvP list. That's your Torghast list. That's your Race the World First list. So you've got like some leaderboards. I think making WoW a bit more competitive like that is good. Having it visually shown, having some titles and mount rewards to go with it as well. I think that would be great. Because as much as I wanted like the vicious the vicious brood something the undead mount, the frostworm, it looks amazing, but I know that I needed like an arena rank 4 or something to get it, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get that, but it looks cool. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and be salty that I didn't get it because it looks so awesome. Because I can't. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I'm not going to get it. I don't. I'm glad someone did because that means they were that arena rank at that sort of thing, and that was it. Same thing with this.
They worked hard for it.
Yeah, it's the same thing of being salty at Method or Limit for going, they got Race to World First. I'll never get that, so I don't get them out. Blah blah blah. It's like, well, yeah, no, you're not going to be, are you?
Because you didn't partake in the Mythic raid.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But so I'm hoping that Torghast as well, for the reason that you got leaderboards, and then maybe if it does really well in next expansion, they'll have like 3 different Torghasts, like 3 different roguelike ones that you can do. Maybe they'll split it.
Don't think they'll lean into that too heavily. I think if Torghast is a success, I think it may be something they will look at potentially doing again in the future.
I hope so.
I would see it would only happen the once.
The
biggest fear that we have at this point in time is Torghast turning into the islands.
Yes, we need to get past that first.
We do need to get and hopefully we will see exactly what happens with Torghast. And it's, I do genuinely that they've learned a lot from Islands and the reception. Some of the stuff we saw at BlizzCon and some of the stuff that we have been informed of about Torghast, it gives me positive thoughts.
Yeah.
We just have to wait and see exactly what it's going to entail.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. More like they kill it next expansion because it was a success because Blizzard only moves forwards with the shitty ideas. Well,
that's about right.
We'll definitely see.
Guys,
but...
do you like garrisons?
We want player housing. Here's garrisons. No.
We want player housing. Here's islands.
So here's the thing as well, though. Like, if you put in something good, then you should keep it in. That's what I think. And Blizzard have a really terrible habit.
That's a pitfall.
Well, here's an example, though. I don't think that the mission tables were ever great. I don't think people ever went in. I don't think people in WoD went, this is a feature I want in the next expansion.
Yeah, let's do this.
In Legion, it worked a bit better. Not gonna lie, it did. But I sat there and I went, would I feel less of an experience if I didn't have this? No. And then they they said again, mission table's working well. We'll put it in BFA, and it's the most irrelevant side thing in BFA ever. So they got that idea and they put that over 3 expansions, but they won't look at I don't know what came out in.
So
but they won't carry over better ideas, which is what I'm saying.
The Mage Tower. Mage Tower is a perfect example.
Exactly, that was great. People love the Mage Tower.
The issue, so the first issue you have is carrying something over from expansion to expansion. So the garrison, people hate the garrison, and I understand they did.
Good concept, bad idea.
Good, yeah. The execution was a bit stuttery. What I will say is the garrison made sense for Warlord of Draenor.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense. Recruiting people from around you, the missions, going out into this world, getting a foothold that you have no control over.
Yeah.
It started to make a little bit less sense in Legion, although it was kind of the opposite. It was a great execution because the order halls looked great.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
You know,
they were
and,
amazing.
You know, the storylines involved with those were fantastic, but it kind of just felt like an added-on bit just to deal with artifact weapons. And now we've reached the point where it's like, okay, what's the point of these? It's just something I can do on my phone.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. And I think the other thing as well is it massively depends on what they. So, kind of one of the biggest issues I think with BFA is everything. No.
Subject of the day. What I think is the biggest issue with BFA list.
How long have you got? Make sure you sub and subscribe to keep the 24-hour timer going. I think that the biggest issue I've had is there are so many systems that they have tried to fit in and balance. So one of the things people have thought about the Race to World First and the reason why it's been so up and down with bugs and difficulties alongside those lines with the tuning of it as well. For Carapace taking less than 70 pulls to kill as the penultimate mythic boss, that doesn't sound right. We are now at a point where Blizzard are trying to balance classes, Azerite gear, essences, corruption, and just gear as a whole, stats as a whole. Which they deal with 5 things at once.
It's not a dig, but they were struggling with just balancing just gear.
Yeah, we obviously remember that famous quote from Ian Hazakostis. We want you to look at a piece of gear and know that it is an upgrade. And we are now in a position where it's like, that doesn't happen.
No.
That doesn't. When was that? I can't. Last time I was like, oh, this will suit me because I've got to go. Okay, how much corruption does it have? Do I have the right stats for the essence that I have? Will my Azerite need to change with that? Is my heart level the right size? Is the corruption level is the corruption affix the right one?
Yeah.
Is it the right tier of corruption affix?
God, it's so min max now. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and they got rid of reforging because apparently it was too much to consider. But now think about what you have to consider. It's ridiculous. Ravs in chat. It's almost like they put too much on their plate and are now vomiting all over themselves. That's exactly what it feels like. It kind of feels like they've ordered 5 courses and they've all arrived at once. And it's like, how do I balance out eating this ice cream whilst also eating this broccoli and Stilton soup, but I also need to eat this lobster?
Yeah.
How do you manage to do that? It's almost impossible.
Yeah. It is the worst part about that when Ian said that is he said that and then it was literally next patch or whatever. That's when it
next expansion.
It was like, we want to do this, and we're like, cool. And then they just did a 180. I was like, but you just said, like, literally just said you didn't want it. You wanted this to be like this, and you've just done the opposite.
You think you do
exactly, but it's frustrating because
so.
Because especially as a design lead, he should then look at it and go, that's the complete opposite of what I just told everybody. It's like, and I understand that they're on a time limit, right? I understand that Ian is not the big decider of everything when it comes to World of Warcraft. Of course not. But
not only is he not the big decider, but whenever we talk about Blizzard in this sense, is we are talking from a position of fans, essentially.
Yeah.
We've played the game for a long time. We enjoy the game. We want to see it do the best it can possibly do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't have all of the numbers available to us.
No.
They do. And I feel, obviously they might be able to see something that we don't, which is fair enough. But from the outside looking in, this is exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Especially we're now in a Rav, mate, again, very, very good point in chat. We're now at a point where an item can be a blue item from a world quest with a 50 item level decrease, but it actually gives you a damage gain because of the corruption effect on it.
Yeah.
That's the position we're in. That is not a healthy position for A, an MMO, or B, any form of RPG.
No.
It's not great.
Which is why I said I hope that they take the opportunity of the level reset and everything in Shadowlands to kind of break everything back down, make it a bit simpler again. Just
make it simpler, make it easier to understand.
Yeah, you can have it simple and fun. I think Blizzard. I feel as though Blizzard feels if they keep anything the same, that people are immediately going to go, just say bye and leave if they don't change something every single expansion. Like, because
the problem you have is they have done that before, and that's exactly what people have done.
In what regard?
So they will keep things the same, and people will complain.
Example. I can't think of one right now.
Warcraft 3 Reforged.
No.
No. That's a legitimate thing.
Okay, firstly, we're not allowed to say that word. Secondly,
because here's the thing: Blizzard are constantly fighting a battle with fans.
Yeah, of course. I agree.
There are certain aspects of Warcraft 3 Reforged that are terrible. The EULA, for example, terrible, and the fact that they have stopped people from playing the original Warcraft 3 is terrible. However, when Warcraft 3 Reforged was first announced and they said they were going to be redoing the cinematics, redoing the models, redoing the voice lines and doing everything, there was uproar that people were complaining about Blizzard ruining Warcraft 3, saying that it wouldn't be Warcraft 3, saying it would be terrible. So Blizzard went, okay, we'll dial it back. We'll still have redone cinematics in-game. They'll obviously use the new models. We can do different things with them, but the voice lines will stay the same. The story's going to stay the same. It's with a couple of changes here and there, a couple of voice lines that are slightly different, but on the whole, it's remained the same story. And the cinematics that we have seen pre-rendered all look a lot better than they did back in the day. They are HD, they look crisp, they look clean, and for a game that's, nearly 20 years old, they still look really, really good. The Arthas cinematic when he returns to Lordaeron looks incredible to this day. The only problem we have is now people are going, what is this horseshit? Where's my new Warcraft 3 game, Blizzard? And it's like, what do you want? How, you can't on one hand turn around and say, oh, I really want to, I want a brand new game with a brand new story and everything. Okay, so you don't want Warcraft 3, you want Warcraft 4. So how are you now complaining about this? It doesn't make sense. And number one, instead of complaining about it, why don't you turn around to Blizzard and say, I want to play this, fix this. Fix it. Support the game. There is no point in review bombing or, congratulations, you've got your refund for Warcraft 3. We're all very impressed. What have you achieved? You have achieved nothing at the end of the day.
No, that showed them.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what it showed them. Okay, I don't think they particularly care, because for every person that's refunded it, I can guarantee you there's a couple of thousand still playing it.
Yeah, that is true. Also, it's like Rav says, it's almost like the community is made up of different people, and the people always complain are different people. There will always be complainers, and there will be. There definitely will be. So. But the thing is that I don't know about that with World of Warcraft. It's different for when. Okay, so it's different from when you keep something the same, and then when you take something and advance on it, but not change it, you advance on it. Now, what Blizzard do when it comes to talent trees and different things, every expansion, they don't advance on it, they change it. They change it every time. They reinvent the wheel again and again, and we have to get used to something new. It'll happen again in Shadowlands, and hopefully in a good way, I guess, because like when we got to this point where we know we're going to change it, we can literally just cross our fingers and go, I hope it's not going to be shit. That's all we can do, because we don't know what's going to happen. So instead of making everyone hold their breath and hoping it's going to be good and potentially having it bad, how about you go, this system works really, really well. I think it was Cataclysm, Legion, and I'm not sure about WoD, but I think Cataclysm and Legion were kind of like good points where the talent system worked really well and was sort of balanced for the most part. And if they just sort of didn't keep changing and flipping and tuning, and you've got to balance. You have to balance classes. You have to balance stuff. Of course you do. But it's going to be more harder to balance.
It's never going to be perfect either.
No.
That's one of the most important things.
But
never going.
it's going to be more difficult if you are trying to balance within the goalpost, but you're also moving the goalpost while trying to balance. Then you're just like, the thing I just fixed is now all the way over there. You know, so stop. They're making more work for themselves. And again, I don't blame the devs. They get told, change this, do this, and they're like, but we just fixed it. It's like, I don't care, change it, and then they're doing more work. But it's just more work they're rerouting back onto themselves, where they could be focusing it on something more productive and better for the game, which is kind of a shame. So I wish they would just stop reinventing it. People are gonna play the game, they want the game, but they don't want it to keep changing every 5 seconds. Yeah. Like for the core games.
Reinvent the wheel.
No, you don't. You don't need to keep reinventing it. Not add to it. Advance upon it. Take what you've got. If it works well, if you've got good feedback, and if everyone's going, this is pretty cool, go, right, let's advance upon this. Don't change it. So you might think that Azerite gear is an advance upon it. It is, but it was done badly. Everyone told you it was bad, and you went ahead and done it anyway because you had no time to fix it. When you advanced upon it with artifact weapons, that worked. Good. That worked well. But
the advancement of artifact was Azerite.
Oh, the advancement from artifact weapons was Azerite. Yes. So
yes.
They tried to advance that into something else, and it didn't work. I was already a bit before BFA came out, of like, oh, let you get chest, shoulders, and head. I was like, okay. Like, I wasn't quite sure what that was really about. I think it was so much less intrusive in Legion, where it's just like, you have a legendary artifact weapon that is, one that you know from the history and lore of Warcraft. I'm wielding the Ashbringer. I'm wielding the Ashbringer. Fucking A, all right. It was the coolest thing. And this is the heart of Azeroth containing her blood. Yay.
It was basically like you've got Ashbringer and someone coming along and taking it away and just giving you a necklace, and you going, well,
yeah. That's pretty much what happened. We drained Sargeras' sword with our mighty powerful artifact weapons here. And Magni was like, well done, champion. Here's a necklace. Thanks, Magni.
Yeah. This sword is still sharp. You didn't drain the edge.
What?
I can still use that.
What do I do with the necklace, Magni? You save Azeroth! Go! And you're like, oh, exactly. Christ. What did we do with our artifact weapons? We kicked the Legion's ass. We basically decimated anyone on our way. We turned our enemies to ash. We burned them. We bled them. We destroyed them. Everything in which way with, like, every weapon we had. Necklace, can you heal Azerite's wounds, champion?
Speaking of the necklace, healing Azeroth's wounds, this kind of go hand in hand with changing things. And as Rav said, it wasn't an advancement, it was a reinvention.
Yeah.
So, story fuel. You obviously, one of the things that you want to point out is the issue that we seem to currently have with story advancement. Now, we've I think a lot of people have been very critical about BFA's story. I haven't minded it. I thought it was quite enjoyable. I have enjoyed BFA as a whole. I understand, though, that a lot of people have issues with it, and the one thing that is causing real issues is the ending of BFA.
Yep. BFA has an ending?
Yeah, wow. So obviously, unless something happens in between now and Shadowlands, this is the end that we know of. But N'Zoth was released. We know, it's all the, it's, you go to Ny'alotha, you kill him, and that's the end of the Old God. And then, for some reason, everyone is acting as though this is the end of the story of BFA. And I kind of feel like my character would be going, the sword?
Yeah.
The giant sword.
The the stupid thing, the explanation I've seen, it's like, we've been around, we've healed Azeroth wounds, and now it's fine.
At what point did we heal any wounds?
That's what we've been doing around with all the world quests. We're healing all the wounds. Apparently that was it.
But if that's the thing, it's ridiculous. You should be kind of going, yeah, we've killed the Old God, but where's the There's still a giant sword.
Some people are like, oh yeah, but like it's like and Zoth was there and we just cauterized. He was like, the infection and we cauterized him. Like, okay, he wasn't there at the very start when the sword went in. He wasn't the cause. He only came in at the very end. In fact,
it's kind of like walking up to somebody who's fallen through a plate glass window, and they have a giant shard of glass
in their heart.
In their lung,
yeah,
and it's protruding out, and there's this moment where it's like, okay, I've spent the last 2 hours going backwards and forwards from the pharmacy to get you small plasters, and you've spent the entire time plastering up the tiny little cuts that would happen and making sure everything's fine.
Yes,
and you've completely ignored the giant
shard.
Sticking out of their lung.
You've poured loads of alcohol over it so it doesn't get infected, but there's still a shard in there.
It's almost if you finally put the last plaster on and you've gone, you're all better. And then walking off, just leaving them there, kind of holding on to, dear life because there's a shard of glass sticking out of them.
I can't.
Speaking of dear life, I'd also like to say hello, dear Brett. How are you doing?
Everyone
say hi to Brett in the chat, by the way. He's a very good friend of mine and a true scholar and a gentleman.
Hi, Brett. Dude, like it's exactly like that. It is exactly like that. So I can't believe that we're gonna go off to Shadowlands while this sword is like, I'm just gonna chill in Azeroth.
Yeah, that's the. I understand. I understand the storyline with Sylvanas going into it, and her motives are now making a little bit more sense. Especially retroactively, you look back and you see some of the stuff that she's done that's made people go, "That was a stupid decision." And it's like, actually, it was a deliberate decision to continue the war. It wasn't made as a tactical decision.
Yeah.
It was just not the tactics we were all following.
Yeah.
It's but where's the connection between that and the sword? I'm still hoping that there is. So the one thing that I'm really, and I am, we've spoken about this at length about N'Zoth, the end of the N'Zoth encounter actually being a trick and us not killing him.
Somebody else said that. There is a forum post that brought that up as well.
We know at the end of N'Zoth, he might the end of the encounter, the entire raid is mind control, and then you have the whole thing where you break out, use the Heart of Azeroth.
So I know you said it many times, and we both discussed it about it just being a vision. I'd like to just read out this post that someone what's it, Universum put out on the forums, on the WoW forums. They say, what if his killing / defeating N'Zoth and his Black Empire is the last vision we witness? Shadowlands being part of the dream, and the expansion after Shadowlands, our characters wake up to the complete destruction of Azeroth, eternally doomed and infected by N'Zoth's armies, completely obliterating everything we have, and we have no choice but to escape and look for a new planet. Leaving behind our loved planet, we could revisit in the future or invade once we've gathered up enough strength. This would make N'Zoth the biggest player ever. I love the top response to it is, as far as I was able to gather, Squid is a big-time 4D chess player, and this is a 4D chess move.
That's essentially how it feels.
I'm hoping it is.
There's a little part of me that's looking at Shadowlands and going, it looks cool, it looks fun, but this is really out of left field.
Yeah.
We've always had an idea of this this other world, this the veil, if you will. We've always had this idea of that being there, but it does seem as though it's a little bit, I don't know, there's something about it that's making me go, I feel as though this is a redirect. I honestly feel as though this is some sort of redirect. And maybe we're I'm not a fan of the idea of going and finding a planet. I definitely feel as though we can break out of it and fight our way out. There's enough, the next expansion after Shadowlands, we could do something along the lines of, maybe we help, uncorrupt the planet through a loon. Or I've always liked the idea one idea that I've had that is extremely out of left field. But the one rumor is that a loon is a Titan facility on the moon.
A loon is a Titan facility on the moon.
A loon platoon upon the moon.
Yeah.
I would love it if we went to the Titan facility on the moon and it is nothing like we have seen before. And that is how we help cleanse the planet. Maybe there's like a final, I don't want to use this phrase, but maybe that's how there's a final solution on there to getting rid of the old. You know, there's a lot they can do, and it does. I mean, Battle for Azeroth does feel a little bit waddy in the fact that they have just kind of cut it off.
Yeah.
The storyline does feel like a hard cut.
Yeah.
The war campaign, it's a hard cut. It feels as though they've just gone, right, okay, BFA is a write-off. Yeah, that's no moon, that's a space station. It's rife for pop culture references. But yeah, this BFA looks like they've written it off and then now moving on to Shadow. Last time they did this, we got Legion.
It's going to be 16 years later. Yeah, wipe out the planet, new planet to start. You know, people weren't even born when we started playing WoW, and now they're 15. They're 15. Like, I want to play WoW. And it's like, oh, wasn't there a thing called Azeroth? We're like, yeah, it blew up. We're on a new planet now. How cool would that be to tell them?
I see you, Brett, and I will let you know exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where...
Excuse Kexman as well. Sometimes his mic cuts out.
Oh, did it? Is that the first time it's happened?
It's been happening slightly, but I've not mentioned anything.
God damn it! Can anyone please? I'd like to put together a Kexman mic fund. This thing is ancient.
He needs a replace so badly.
It needs a replacement. This thing actually was kind of going a little bit off topic. This microphone was actually bought for me by Total Biscuit a long time ago.
You know that we can't find the source for it. Maybe he's just trolling you from beyond the grave.
I would be surprised.
It's like the sort of thing he'd probably do.
Yeah, I would like to see them do something drastic.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of a Black Empire expansion. Whether or not we've had... Again, there's a lot they could do. And it does feel as though they are struggling with... Sometimes they struggle with connecting the stories. We've spoken about a Shadowlands expansion all about death and dark and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, why not a light expansion?
Yeah, Shadowlands and then the light expansion. Yeah, I'm still putting my eggs in the basket for that one. I want that to be a thing.
The fact that we have, the ridiculous, the ridiculously, sort of like huge idea behind this is all a vision from N'Zoth, and we're leading into a Black Empire expansion. There's a lot of stuff they can do. Whether or not they will is another thing entirely. I mean, here's my question. You're a big fan of this.
Yeah, that's why I'm still playing WoW.
Exactly. How would you have closed out BFA?
I would have closed it out.
Ignoring N'Zoth, because that's kind of its own little thing. How would you have closed off BFA with Azeroth's wounds?
Wounds! With regards to the wounds.
How would you have ended that storyline? And again, that may change. They may still go back and, do something with that. We don't know yet.
I would have had, like, near the end, Magni calling you to the chamber. And obviously, because there's still so many wounds, there's still a sword in it. Let's keep everything relevant. The only panic mode that happened was when the sword first came in and the heart chamber was, like, close to breaking. And Magni was freaking out. That should still be the case. Like, Azeroth was stabbed and almost had a heart attack is essentially what happened. And again, like we said, we've put plasters over the wounds, but there's still a sword in them. Yes, you've prevented a heart attack from happening, but there's a sword right there. It's still bad. I would imagine that near the end of BFA, because we've patched up the wounds, it wasn't enough. And, like, the heart chamber starts going critical again, and Magni's freaking out. Mother's basically giving warnings that Azeroth's gonna literally die. And then there'll be, like, some sort of supercharge cinematic cut to the outside of Azeroth. You just see, a huge pulse just ripple out from Azeroth. Like, and it doesn't break, nothing happens, but you kind of awaken in the chamber, and Magni's like, oh, he's like, you know, they check systems like, oh, that was a close one. She was near death or whatever, but she seems to be, it seems to be okay. And it's like, after everything, it seems what we did actually work. Then when we find out that actually wasn't the case, and that we go to Shadowlands, and then we're like, hold on a second. It's like, how do we just travel to the world of the dead just so easily? And then you kind of think about it, and then we did all die. Azeroth did break, and then when we've come out from Shadowlands, you know, because we can revive, spirit healers, all the other thing, and then we realize, and then we can look upon Azeroth, and it is literally just like Cataclysms have got nothing on it. It is broken. It is dead, and we're like,
Outland.
Yeah, and we're like, okay. So I think that would be a bit more of a shocker, because Blizzard have no shocking moments. That's what they missed in BFA. So the thing with Ajara was pretty cool, but there was no shockers. We knew when Zoth was going to be with Ajara because we already had the Warbringers. Yeah, I think it was Warbringers, yeah. And so there was no big moments like, oh crap. Like, so we saw in Zoth, we knew he was coming. We knew that once he was unlocked, he was coming again after. We knew that was going to happen. The Black Empire was really cool. There's a lot coming. The Black Empire was a nice, cool twist. It wasn't like, okay, that makes sense, though, at least. So it wasn't too out of left field. So everything's been really predictable in BFA. There's been no surprises or left fields. What happened, Legion? Like, the crystal got broken, Illidan came out as a boss, broke Gul'dan. There was a possibility for it to happen, but there was nothing saying this is going to happen. It did, and it was cool. Gul'dan arriving at the start of Legion and finding Illidan, that was a shocker. Everyone was like, bloody hell, it's Illidan. We haven't seen him since Burning Crusade. Cataclysm, Deathwing was quite a surprise, just arriving from beneath the earth and crumbling the world. Cho'Gall popping up with the Twilight as well. Hansen Cho'Gall a long time. Big shocker. There's so many things where things come left and right. Like, whoa, a new Barak in Wrath. Again, sort of you'd expect to sort of see him. But, like, I mean, maybe he's not the best example because you sort of expect a new Barak. When you remember back into Frozen Throne, you had Arthas, you had Kel'Thuzad, you had a new Barak. That was the trio team.
The biggest thing to take from this is one thing. So for you, one of the most important things that they can back into the story is surprise.
Yes, like left field. So the latest one they did, the cinematics of Shadowlands, when Sylvanas beat the Lich King and put off his helmet. You were like, whoa, like no way. And then broke it. That was the biggest moment. Like, and I was like, yes, we want that.
Hello, Rudolph Queen. How are you doing?
Hello. But yes, we want that. We definitely want that. The shockers, the surprises are. Yes.
Yeah. Of being surprised, of being. I think the big thing is not only being surprised at something, but it's more the excitement of going, okay, this has surprised us. I wasn't expecting this.
Yes.
Now I get to live it, if that makes sense. I get to go into the game.
Some elements of BFA had it, but it was held up by the cinematic department. Old Soldier was unexpected and amazing. The prison cinematic with Saurfang and Anduin, amazing. Didn't expect beautiful. It came in. Saurfang going and finding Thrall in Outland, didn't expect it. Came back, loved it. But again, cinematic department. That's what came and brought the surprises.
Is move Terran Gregory
yes,
and merge the cinematic department and the story department into one megalith of amazingness.
Yeah, you should definitely. That's how we fix World of Warcraft. But yes, bring back the shock, bring back surprise in the story, not just in a cinematic, but in the story. Because right now, I'm kind of looking forward to Shadowlands for the fact that we have no idea what's going to happen. I love having no idea.
We don't. We know little bits about Jailer, entity, but that's about it.
Yeah, so Jail
unless,
only
of
entity,
course, you're Bellular or Pyromancer and you seem to know everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. But that's my baseline for World of Warcraft. When I first started playing, there's a lot of people like, why did you like World of Warcraft so much? I said, I loved it because I went into Azeroth and I knew nothing. I loved knowing nothing because the world seemed so huge and it seemed so big and there was so much I didn't know and discovering new things was great. That's why I've said to Kexman on this show before, this is sort of why I like figuring out raids. I don't like the guides and whatever because I like figuring it out. I like discovering it for myself.
Or at least that's your excuse for your terrible performance.
But it's sort of like not really a life kind of like a life preference or anything like that. It's just sort of like it's like how I kind of like some things. World of Warcraft especially. World of Warcraft is sort of in that category of I like discovering new things, I like not knowing. So when Shadowlands comes out,
I think it seems more like whilst it is it's an MMO, it's an RPG, you kind of approach the story and the fights are part of that story as almost like a single player experience, as a story mode.
Yes. Yeah, no, of course. I approach it like it's Warcraft 3. For when I first played it. I didn't expect Arthas to go back into that throne room and stab his father. Like, when that happened, I was like, you don't expect to see it. And that's the best thing ever. It's like really, really cool. So, Archimonde crumbling the Dalaran. I'm going back into cinematics again. God damn you, Terran. But it's so, like, there's so many great things and, like, out of left fields. Speaking about out of left fields as well, just briefly as I just touched upon Warcraft 3, Reforged, they have a new part, which I don't remember from the original, in the kind of prologue with Thrall. And the Horde. When you're on the islands and you're with the troll, you get taken into an underground cavern by some murlocs. I don't remember that one. It might have happened, but it's been so long since I played the original story.
Ever since I played it.
I don't remember that though. Like something of that might have happened, but I can't remember because they mentioned that like, oh, we've got to obey the Witch of the Sea, otherwise she'll like sink this island. And it's like, well, obviously. But obviously they're referring to Azara and like obviously a subjects and what have you. So there was all that. I don't remember that bit with the Murlocs though, but I mean maybe it was a thing. It might have been a thing. But there's a thing. If that was a thing and I forgot it, great, because then I think it's brand new to me. I'm looking at this and going, wow, I don't remember this. This is really cool. Yeah. It's it's that sort of thing. Goes back in the circle. So yeah, I approach it like Warcraft 3. I love not knowing. So Shadowlands, again, we'll obviously find out a lot of things beforehand because I'm eager to know. But I'm not going to look into everything. And of course, even when you look into expansion, they don't reveal like loads of the quest and the story on the ground you'll be doing. So that'll be all new. That'll be all fresh. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm goddamn looking forward to leveling from 1 to 60 in any zone I want. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Through nothing but Wrath of the Lich King, please.
Or Pandaria.
Actually.
Yeah.
Pandaria.
Mm-hmm.
Pandaria.
You can even do half Wrath, half Pandaria, maybe. Like, whatever you want.
Rathdaria.
Rathdaria.
Wrath
of the...
Pandrath of the...
Daria.
King. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, let's go with that, yeah.
Speaking of things that people are excited about, in just a moment, I've got something that I want to unwrap and show.
Special surprise. Do I need to put on like some cartoony music or something for this, like circus music?
I think we should probably go for a quick break. Obviously,
that's very true. Yes,
time to
you got to prep your special surprise.
Yes, I've got to prep my special surprise. I've got some oil. There is several sparklers I want to get set up.
Oh my god!
So it's going to be exciting. But
I'm scared.
Stick around. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back shortly when I've got something I want to show all of you, and I'm very excited.
Be scared.
Oh, finally, free time. Hey guys.
Right, where have you been all day? The race to world first is in
Well, I mean, I woke up this morning, went to work, came home, kids tried to kill me, wife needed everything. So I've just been too busy to keep up with the race.
Okay, we'll go to warcraftradio.com/RWF and check out the latest kill video.
Whoa. This says, like, everything. Kill videos, recaps. Are these progress bars? Like, these are in real time?
Yeah, man, everything's up to the minute, even on mobile.
So basically, this is like the race to world first for people with zero free time.
Yeah, pretty much.
The race to world first for those on the go. Warcraft Radio.
Farseer, what in Sorfang's name are you eating?
Bread?
The hell are you eating bread for? Did you not cook anything?
But I did cook this.
What? Ugh. You have the kitchens of Dalaran at your disposal and you make bread?
Well, I tried to cook other things.
Let's teach Farseer to cook together, shall we? Oh! You've got to have salmon if you're making this dish. Come to High Mountain, got some salmon, time to get some snails. Yep. You can get snails anywhere in Dalaran, but I prefer to get it the old-fashioned way. Oh, why are the snails so... No, stop. No.
Where did Kex go?
Oh, God. You've got your salmon, you've got your snails. All you need now are some jalapeno peppers and some royal olives. Leave it to stew for a little while, and you have the perfect Drogbar-style salmon.
I think I might stick with my bread, because that doesn't look good at all.
But if you spend more than 10 seconds eating it, you buff yourself with pepper breath, giving you the chance to unleash a mouthful of fire damage on all your enemies.
What kind of food are you trying to get me to make? In fact, I was just sat here happily eating my bread, and then you came along, and then you just started giving me all this shtick about just making bread, and then you go on about salmon and fish and snails, and I just want to just eat. What is up, guys? We return to the airwaves, and yeah, actually no, that's accurate. We return to the airwaves and the visual waves. For you guys,
I suppose you could call it the airwaves. Interestingly enough, we learned something while we were on that break. On the 14th of July, Blizzard are releasing a Shadowlands novel called Shadows Rising. It's a prequel novel, similar to the novels we saw for Cataclysm and
the Shattering,
similar to those sort of
War Crimes.
We'll learn a little bit more about exactly what is going to be happening in Shadowlands.
Might be tempted to buy. That'll be my second. That'll only be my second, but that'll be my second Blizzard or World of Warcraft book that I'll get. I haven't read a book in ages, but reading a Blizzard one is enjoyable.
I'm surprised you can read.
Wow.
I'm hilarious.
Yeah, you are the pinnacle of comedy, Kexman.
Speaking of hilarity, I have in my hand here something that's slightly different. Obviously, we talk a lot about Warcraft here on the station. It's pretty big, pretty exciting. When we talk about something slightly different.
Brett also says if you could also mention US retail release will be February 12th.
I did see that, and I am going to.
Okay. I just thought I was just making you aware, but continue. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I have done this before.
All right, Dalek Khan.
I've got some fantastic friends over at Cyanide and Happiness. Brett, Paul,
Heather, Rob. Just want to say hello to all of you, Steph as well.
Hi, Steph.
And they have recently released a brand new game. It was on Kickstarter. They made a game called Joking Hazard. Obviously, if you're familiar with comics on the internet, sort of like comic strips, you will know of Cyanide and Happiness. They have recently released a new game that I bought, and I got the full package for it, and it is actually called Trial by Trolley. Now, this is a I'll hold it. I'll cover my face. Shall I?
Yeah.
I'll put it over here. So this is the new game. They did Joking Hazard, which was it was good fun. It was very, very good fun. This one, however, is slightly different. I'm going to be unboxing it live. It's always nice to have something slightly different to talk about. This one, I haven't even taken the shrink wrap off this yet. So we're going to do that, and we'll talk, a little bit more about how the game entails and everything like that, while we also obviously chat to you folks in Twitch chat as well. If you do have any questions in regards to the game, as again, if you're in the US, it is going retail release on February the 12th. Make sure you pick yourself up a copy.
You're welcome.
Are you familiar with Cyanide and Happiness, Farseer?
I've never heard of them at all, ever in my absolute entire life. No, I've
never heard of Cyanide. I was going to say.
No, I have. Yeah,
you must have heard of Cyanide.
Did the exaggeration not kind of ooze the? Oh, okay, he's joking. So
no, because I can never tell with you. I can't tell if you're exaggerating. You really haven't.
Oh.
I mean, this is the person that didn't know about the reagent bank till like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, look, I was serious when I said it. Like, I was like, I don't know about the reagent bank, and now I do, and it's very handy, isn't it? But yeah, no, I know Side and Happiness. They do the comics.
They do the comics. They do very, very funny comics.
Mm-hmm.
They've also done games. They also do. They currently, they have sort of like animation. They also do as well. They've done, I believe, if I remember rightly, and again, if anyone, if Brett's still in the chat, he can correct me on this one. I believe they also have their own animated show called Purgatory. I believe. Don't quote me on that, or they may be related. That's a very, very good one. That very funny. So yeah, this is properly brand new.
Okay.
And one of the things I love with games like this is the first time you unbox them, because Purgatory. There we go. It's on YouTube as well.
On YouTube,
so go check out Purgatory on YouTube by the Cyanide and Happiness guy.
Okay.
Go. This is packed really well. Good lord.
That's.
Oh, Purgatoni. Sorry, Purgatoni. That sounds like something dirty.
Oh, this Cyanide and Happiness making a title that might be slightly dirty or happens to be an innuendo. Yeah, I was gonna say. Never.
There we go.
Congratulations, by the way, Cyanide and Happiness crew. You've made Kexman struggle at opening something, and for a man of his size, that's quite an achievement.
I've just noticed as well. So this is the derailed edition. This, I believe, this is the full edition of Trial by Trolley. I've just noticed that here, this is set up in so the basic premise of the game is it is the age-old conundrum of you are in charge of changing tracks of a trolley. Do you kill one person or do you kill 4 people? It's kind of like that age-old dilemma, but slightly twisted.
That age-old dilemma.
Yeah, it happens to everyone.
I remember back when I was 10, I had that power and decision over everybody's lives. Yeah,
It happens. And one thing I've noticed is I'm fairly certain that this group here, multi-track drifting, kill all of them. I'm fairly certain this group here is Nickelback. I don't know if you can see that there.
Wait a second.
But I'm fairly certain that is Nickelback.
It might be.
I'm fairly certain it is. In which case, I don't care who this guy is. That trolley is going down this one. They are getting wiped off the face of the earth.
Look at this trolley. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, look at this trolley. Versions of this. I don't know if Brett can confirm in the chat is the version that's going to be White Supremacist versus Nickelback. Sorry, Nickelback.
Oh, that's how it begins, is it? That's how we do this.
This is how it begins.
This is how we do.
The one thing is this edition, the derailed edition, is this the one that's heading to retail release over in the US, or is it a slightly different version? I just want to get confirmation on that.
Who knows?
Who knows? See, immediately I know that I'm in. This one is Kickstarter exclusive.
Ooh.
Hot dang.
Okay.
Okay. So we have obviously our. Oh wow. Okay. So it's for 3 to 13 people.
Okay.
So there's
Fun for all the family.
The retail edition is much smaller. That excites me. Oh wow. Okay.
It's
So
packed
there's
full
various
of cards, bursting with cards.
Okay. So I'll give you. So here is. It's still full of cards. So this is the sort of like little blurb you get at the start here. Gives you an idea of what the game entails.
Go on then.
Why, hello there, young person. My name is Trolley Tom. In this game, players take turns acting as conductor and directing the trolley to murder everyone on one of 2 tracks. Everyone else places characters and modifiers onto the tracks and attempts to get the conductor to murder everyone on the other track. It's the age-old trolley problem. Like I said, age-old problem that everyone has.
Okay.
So it seems as though there are 3 different set of cards. Whichever of you last pondered murdering folks will start the game as the conductor. Well, I'm starting the conductor every single time. So it seems as though there are various different. Oh right. Okay.
Is therapeutic one of the keywords on the front of the box? Because maybe it should be.
It is not.
Okay.
I can confirm it is not on the. Therapeutic isn't at all. Okay. So everyone draws. There's 3 sets of cards. There's innocent, guilty, and modifier cards. Each team plays a random innocent card, so it can be anything. Each team chooses a guilty card. It's basically what they use to try and sabotage it. And there is a modifier card. The modifier cards can be, it essentially gives you a chance to sabotage the other team's plan to try and stop you. It seems as though it's mostly around sort of interaction between the various different teams, which is actually pretty interesting, and I feel as though it's one that we could kind of all play here on the station.
Possibly.
Let's have a look. I know I'm in for a good game when the board that I have is the first thing I see on the board is that.
Oh.
I know I'm in for a very, very good game.
Oh.
I mean, it's just nothing but bloody corpses all across.
TOS. TOS.
That should be fine. It's cartoony enough, isn't it? It feels just when you open the whole thing up, it's better.
Oh my!
I love this.
Doesn't even start clean.
It's a good start. I quite like that.
Starts off with corpses and blood.
Corpses. Oh, there's 2 different. So you can have the clean version. That's fine if you're playing with family. If Nan wants to come and play, you can play with your clean version. And then as soon as Nan decides it's time to go home and draw the curtains, you get out the real version of the game.
Oh my god! Go home, get curtains drawn.
Gotta get home, get curtains drawn. Oh, Nan's gone. We can now bust out the real version of the game. Now it seems as though we have some little pop-outs, which are going to be great fun to actually get those all punched. Punching card is a favoured pastime of every single board game player. Now, one of the things that this also comes with, Kickstarter exclusive, I believe, is we also get our own. We get the Kickstarter exclusive. Also comes with some Trolley Tom minis, which I'm very excited about.
Who is this Tom, and why is he so special?
So this is Tom. Say hello to Tom. This is Trolley Tom, who is the the conductor, if you will.
Okay.
He's he looks quite cool.
Big
That's
beard.
one version.
I can see why you
Big
relate.
beard. I've also just noticed in that one he's carrying a skull, which is kind of upsetting.
Oh,
I
yeah,
suppose.
for some, yes.
There is another version of Trolley Tom here. This one, he seems to be standing next to the actual
Switch.
Yeah, he's standing next to the actual switch.
Yeah.
Pull the lever, Kronk. It's the dudes. Hi, Seeth. How's it going?
Hello, Seeth.
And then one of the that is a very, very nice mini. There is an actual mini.
Oh, it's a trolley. The tram. Trolley tram.
You can also see at the front trolley tram. At the front, you also have Trolley Tom.
Ooh. So he's the cause. He's judge, jury, and executioner in this one.
He is judge, jury, and executioner in
He's
this
not
world.
Judge, Judy, and executioner.
Judge, Judy, and executioner. So there are a lot of cards in this. Good lord. So to give you an idea, I'm currently looking. So this is the highest tier on Kickstarter. So obviously, if you get this on retail release, you may not find as many cards. However, you still have. I've got 1, 2. I'm assuming that's 2 piles, thick piles of innocent cards.
Extra thick.
Extra thick. I have what I believe to be the guilty cards. That one there. And then I have what I believe to be 2 of the however I can't remember what they called those cards.
The thinking cards.
Those were the thinking cards. I can't remember exactly what they were called. I'm terrible at this. So those are the main cards.
Modifiers?
Modifiers, that's the one.
Yeah.
So they're the main cards for the game. I'm assuming that these are the cards that will come in the retail version. I'm assuming these are the retail ones. Someone's saying limit better than method. I mean, it's difficult to disagree. Limit indeed for this race. We're a lot better than method. And I don't think anyone's going to doubt that. NAEU, we'll wait and see. So this is...
Jury's still out on that one.
Jury's still out on that one. So this is the Kickstarter. So this is the Kickstarter expansion. This one contains 100 exclusive cards customized by the backers during the Trial by Trolley Kickstarter. So that's going to be interesting.
Okay.
And then I have 3 booster packs, I suppose you'd call them.
Nice.
Like exclusive Trial by Trolley cards.
Booster packs. That takes me back to my days of collecting Pokemon cards when I was younger.
Yeah, who would...
and Yu-Gi-Oh, actually.
Who would get booster packs these days?
So when's the last time you bought your Dragon Ball
Shut up.
Heroes booster pack there, Kex?
So what I'm going to do now is, I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick look and give an idea. One of those boosters is the Joking. Yes, I did see. So this one here, I believe, Joking Hazard. So this one contains 20 exclusive Joking Hazard cards. Oh, wow, okay. That's quite cool. That's very cool, actually. That's really cool. So we've also got the Derailed bonus pack, which kind of, I don't know, that booster art makes me feel a bit awkward. Looks like Carrie on that one, which is impressive to say the least. So to give an idea, so one, the first one I've seen on the innocent one is going to set your heartstrings, Farsi.
Oh,
so
no. So to do with the bloody cat, isn't it?
A single kitten on its way to be adopted. Look at that card. The shining. I'll see if I can get the
you
light
got
off.
it.
There we go. A single kitten on its way to be adopted. So that's one of the innocent cards that you have there.
If we play this and you kind of do anything to that cat, that's the moment I just throw my cards across the table, stand up, and walk off
conductor,
crying.
you get to choose.
I would literally avoid every cat ever. Like, I don't care if it's a person. If it's a person, that's fine. They get it. Cats, I avoid all cats. That's it. That's my rule.
And then one of the other ones I've got here is an intelligent talking dog saying, "I'm a good boy." So those are the 2 choices that we have. And then, kind of cute. I'm a good boy. And then obviously guilty cards are slightly different. So for example, we have an Al Qaeda operative, which
What?
just happens.
What?
So here's the question. Here's the question, Farseer. If you send the trolley down, if you send the trolley down that track, you do manage to kill an Al Qaeda operative. The only problem is you'll also kill the kitten. What do you do?
Kitten survives. Okay.
Kitten survives.
No, like not even a choice.
Not. What about if there was the Kardashians down that track as well?
Nope, cat's still involved.
Cat is still involved. So you would allow an Al Qaeda and the Kardashians to survive?
Yep.
Because there was a cat involved.
Yep. I'm not kidding. Nope. No cats being harmed on my watch.
No cats being harmed.
Nope.
No cats being harmed.
You could literally put Hitler on that track, and I would not have him run over if it would kill that kitten on his way to being adopted. No.
Why? Simply because Hitler would be on the track, and you wouldn't kill the kitten.
No.
No. I mean, okay. Let me see if I can quickly get the Kickstarter exclusive cards open. We'll take a quick look at those. What I will say is, at some point,
Hi,
obviously because of the nature of this game. Hi, Ray. How's it going? Because of the nature of this game, hang on. Let me get into my Cyanide and Happiness Trial by Trolley Kickstarter edition pack by using my Cyanide and Happiness bottle opener.
I love the mouth.
It's my favourite bottle opener. It's my favourite. I have Joking Hazard around here somewhere, signed by Rob as well, one of the developers for Cyanide and Happiness, for Explosum. See, there we go. I think I got into it. Nope. Remember when I said it was packaged really well? There we go. Yeah, it was packaged really well.
Airtight.
I do that and it's like a vacuum and I get sucked into the card.
Somehow just got space in the packet.
How is the card?
Keeps the cards fresh is what it does.
This reminds me very much so of not Cards by Humanity the game, more like Cards of Humanity, sort of like the way they style all their expansion packs and everything. This is packaged. I can't even get into it. That's. I don't want to rip anything, but I may have to. That's out. I'm also. There we go. Whew. Okay.
You okay there? You need a hand?
That was really difficult to get in. Could just be me.
Might just be you at this point. I'm thinking. I'm convinced.
These seem to be more along the lines of more thinking cards. I'm going to open these ones up. Oh, they've got that fresh card smell. Those of you that open cards like from board games and stuff, you know exactly what I mean when I say that fresh card smell.
I know what you mean.
It's amazing. Okay, here we go. There's a lot of them in here as well. They're printed on high quality card, and the artwork is fantastic as well.
God, I need a haircut.
Immediately, the person who will free us from the Matrix.
What the hell?
Yeah, some of these are ridiculous. Moses leading Frida, the Kickstarter servers. The trolley activates a nuke that blows up Mount Everest. As you do.
A bit extreme, but okay.
A terrifying sandworm about to devour a city. Christopher Columbus before all the genocide. This is definitely. Oh no!
What have you found? It's the paperclip. Oh no! Oh no!
There's a lot of There's. What's all this then?
What's all this then?
What's all this then?
Don't know.
Yeah, this is a lot of these look. This is definitely something that we are going to be playing in the future, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how you guys all react to this.
Oh no! What have you found now?
No, not the card in particular, but the game as well.
Oh, the game. Oh right, okay. I thought you found like some sort of really, really bad card.
Oh no, I haven't found anything terrible just yet.
Yet.
I'm going to keep looking and see if I can find one here that is really, really terrible.
Maybe Maybe one shadow of a doubt, says Ralph. Yeah. There's a tiny smidgen of a shadow. But, I mean, that looks pretty cool. I will definitely be looking forward to play out. I mean, because I have been over and I've played some board games with you as well. So definitely maybe give it a shot. I'm always happy to play.
The way that this is laid out, this is something that can definitely be played in a slightly different scenario. Where you kind of, you have various different, if you've got somebody else who also has the game, you could definitely play this online.
Just let it be known that if we play, I am never harming any cats ever. So no matter what you put on that track, it's not happening.
The cat will not be harmed in any way, shape, or...
Nope.
That is again, obviously, if you do want to see a little bit more of this, then make sure you keep an eye out on the stream. Make sure you keep the eye out on YouTube. We'll see if we can get a couple of games going of this in between the team here at Warcraft Radio. We'll see if we can get something set up. I strongly advise, if you don't have a copy of it, go out there and find a copy. If you're living in the US, as we said previously, the retail release version is going on sale on February the 12th. So not too long now. You've only got 5 days to wait until it goes out on retail in the US. I don't know if we have an EU date yet, or if they're going to be open for orders in the. If we do get confirmation of that, we will let you know as soon as.
Order dates for the EU and the UK. Yep.
All of those. Oh, I left the bag out.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, EU and UK. I forgot.
Yeah. He only just clicked.
The first time in months.
But anyway, so thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you, Kex, for showing us the game. Look forward
That's
to
quite all right.
giving it a go.
Like I said, I think I'm gonna try and figure out a way that can be played online.
Adapt this, adapt
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Cool. We will figure something out. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us this week for our discussions about World of Warcraft and all sorts of other things. It's always appreciated seeing you guys show up. If Dunkirk isn't here, 9 times out of 10, I am. 8 times out of 10, Kexman is. And Dunkirk right now is at about 1 out of 10.
He's a bus.
He's a bus. He's a literal bus.
He's a bus.
Yeah.
So, again, if you have enjoyed today, make sure you give us a follow. If you've enjoyed what we want to do, and a bus out of 10, and you want to help us produce more content in the future, subscriptions always help out, whether it's a Twitch Prime subscription, which you do get for free if you have Amazon Prime. We also have a Patreon as well.
We do.
Again, if you do want to support us, you do want to see us make more content like this, potentially trial by trolley content, then again, consider following us on Patreon as well.
Who knows what the future holds?
Where else can they find out information, specifically world first information, Fatih?
They can go to warcraftradio.com and they can check out our website there, and they can specifically go to warcraftradio.com/RWF for the Race to World First page, which we have on our main website. On that website, you can find out everything about the Race World First, everything about the shows, everything we do here at Warcraft Radio, and all that good stuff. Links are now being placed in the chat if you are here live, and if you're listening on the podcast and everything else, thank you for joining us. As usual, I hope we've kept you entertained for 2 more hours this week, myself and Kexman, and we look forward to being back with you next week.
If you obviously do want to join us live, then remember it's 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST every Friday. You think you do, but you don't. Is live here on twitch.tv/Warcraft Radio. It's it's going to be exciting because now the world first is pretty much over. We've still got to get the final idea of what the the leaderboard's going to look like, but now it is full steam ahead.
It is.
For Shadowlands.
It is. So we're looking forward to Shadowlands. I'd say alpha, but beta. We're hopefully looking forward towards beta. We're looking forward to new information. We want to see what's next. And fingers crossed, BlizzCon this year. We'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Anyway, guys, from myself and from Kexman, we'll see you next week.
We will do. Take care.